I'm now with Brian Gent on the Gilbern Owners Club stand. Good afternoon, Brian, and welcome to the Classic Motor Show 2024.
Good afternoon, very pleased to be here.
So, can we just have a little, first of all, a little talk about the three cars on the stand? This one to start with.
Well, basically, this is the Mark 1 Gilbern Invader, and what we've tried to replicate is what the stand was in 1984, because the other two cars on the stand belong to the same owners in 1984 as they do now, and they were on the stand here in 84 for the first show. So
really?
It's only this one that we've had to get another Mark 1 Invader from the original one that was here.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
So they kept them all those years.
That's right. I mean, you know, one of the owners has owned that car for 42 years, and the other one's owned it for 40 years.
Yeah. So, anything special about this particular model?
No, basically this is a very standard Mark 1 Invader, which came out in 1969. It's a particularly good example, owned by club member Phil James, and he completely rebuilt the car, I think, about 20 years ago, and as you can see, it's still in very fine fettle today.
So what about the spec? What's the engine, etc.?
The engine is a V6 Ford Essex 3 litre with a 4-speed overdrive gearbox.
And so what's that top speed?
120 miles an hour.
Really?
Not that you can do that, of course, it's only 70, isn't it?
And what's its handling characteristics? It just handles well?
Yeah, I mean, it handles well. I mean, all Gilberns were well engineered, and they've all got the engine set well back in the chassis, so you've got a very low ride height and handling facility.
Yeah. Like a sort of a mid-engine then?
Well, not quite, but
not
yes,
quite.
but you're on the right lines. Yeah. Absolutely, that's right. Yes.
So what about the red one?
Well, the red one is a 1966 Gilbern GT, which was the original design that Gilbern started with in 1960, and they originally started with an A-series 850cc engine, but basically that's the later version with the MGB 1800 engine in it.
Oh, that's MGB?
Yeah, that's right. So basically all of the running gear on that car comes from an MGB.
And what about the far one, the cream one?
That's a Mark 3 Invader. That particular car, I say, it's been owned by a present owner for 42 years, and he was very much involved in the hill climb and sprint world within Gilbern's at the time. Hence, that's why it's got a roll cage in it, and it was a well-known car for many, many years.
So have you got a little bit of history about Gilbern?
Yes,
the company.
Well, to start with, I need to explain the word Gilbern, because if you look up Gilbern in the dictionary, it doesn't exist, and it's an amalgamation of Giles and Bernard. To get the name. Giles was the son of a South Wales butcher, and Bernard was a prisoner of war from Germany who stayed here after the end of the war, and they happened to meet and have a meeting one day and started talking about cars and had this mad idea about producing a car. The first few cars were built in the loft above the knacker's yard at the back of Giles's butcher's shop, father's butcher's shop. And it's one of those stories that, you know, you couldn't make it up, and it just couldn't happen today. And they went on to produce just over 1,000 cars in total.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they're lovely shapes, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, basically, everyone says that the GT is very much like the early Aston Martin DB24.
Yeah, very much.
And this is a very squarish design, which a lot of the design they think they crib from Lancia, because you look at it from the side, yeah. It could easily be a Beta or something like that, you know.
So what about the show? Is the show beneficial to you? Do you get?
It's one of those things that we sometimes get some new members. A lot of it is meeting members, particularly from our continental members who come over for the show. Okay. So it's a meeting point to say hello and see them every year. And, you know, it's the old story, if you don't go to the party, you're not going to know if you're going to have a good time. So
you're saying that you get owners from abroad. How many percentage would you say from Britain, and how many from abroad?
Well, it's minimal from abroad, because I think worldwide we've probably only got about 60 overseas members, but some of them, you know, because this is the premier show in Europe, an awful lot of them come over to be at it, you know.
Well, thank you very much for the interview, Brian.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
Hope it's of use. Cheerio.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Excellent.
Thanks so much.
That's right.